Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another Spiritualistic Pick a Card reading. Today we are taking a look at your November 2025, so please take a deep breath, creating a clear and open channel, and as you exhale, allow yourself to come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group number 1 on the left with Not an Accident, Synchronicity. Group number 2 in the center with Expect the Unexpected. And group number 3 on the right with Removal of Obstacles. If this is your first monthly reading from me, I do want to give you this PSA that we are going to go through the general astrological themes week by week of November, and we're also going to take a look at the way the energies match you in the individual group that you selected. We're going to go week by week. We're looking at astrology, we're looking at tarot, we're looking at energy. So with this is going to be the kind of reading where you're going to want to take out probably a pen and paper or some notes, because you're going to have dates, you're going to have astrological themes. So if you would like, you can take a look at your personal chart, your transit chart, your secondary progressions chart, your draconic chart, and you can see the way that these energies will personally affect you. And of course, with the tarot, we're going to give you an energy read that's also not just simply astrological. So this is going to be tarot based, but we are looking at the general astrological themes. So if you'd like more of an individualized energy there, so we have the general energy for November, we're going to go week by week, and then we are filtering it down into these 3 energetic collective groups for you. And if you'd like to fine tune that even more, you can take notes so that you have a little bit of a date, an idea of what's going to happen for you in November, what to expect, and then you can look at the way that that personally affects you with your chart and energy. And of course, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do that as well. I do have some sales going on throughout the holiday season from November all the way to January, on and off. So keep an eye on my Etsy store to see that if that's something you're interested in. So with that being said, you can find personals with me on Etsy at Spiritualistik. If you're interested in joining my book club, it's fully donation based, so you can show up and read The Power of Now with us if that's something that you're interested in. I do put exclusive Patreon content out as well as content here on YouTube. I am on TikTok and Instagram, so if you're interested in all of those things, that including Etsy, my handle is Spiritualistik across the board. So if you're interested in any of that, I appreciate seeing you there. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you over at your reading. Namaste. Hi there, group 1. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're looking at your November 2025, and you selected the first group with Not an Accident, Synchronicity. There are a few things I want to tell you before we get into the tarot here. First of all, you might want a pen and paper for this reading. You don't have to, of course, but I've been receiving feedback that it's really helpful. I did recommend it because I channeled it a few months ago, and I've been receiving a lot of feedback that that's very helpful and has been accurate in helping people remember what's going to happen before it does, or at the very least, navigating some energy. When you get 2 weeks, 3 weeks into the month and you're not maybe this reading isn't as fresh in your mind. Okay, so first of all, I want to let you know that. Second of all, okay, we're going to go through week by week. I do have November 1st and 2nd. That is over a weekend here, so I have that kind of compartmentalized, and then we have weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4 of November. We're going to go through each week. We are looking at the general astrological themes, meaning I'm not going to sit here and tell you all of the astrology. I will do that on a different piece of content on probably Patreon or TikTok on my subscriber platform. But we're going to look at the general astrological themes and the way that that pertains to you individually. This is why you're going to want to write it down, because every week has general themes, but the way that it affects you and your chart will be individual. And so having an idea of what that's going to look like on you, you can see kind of how that's going to fit you energetically, okay, apart from just one of these 3 collectives. And the last and final thing I want to tell you, a little bit more exciting than this, okay, group 1, this is manifestation month. November, this is your manifestation month. This whole entire theme astrologically of this month, it's all about what manifestations do you want to bring in? Putting together clear goals, implementing strategies, working towards those goals, manifesting, looking at your underlying motivations, putting together calculated steps to achieve these things, okay? So November is your powerhouse manifestation month, okay? This is not going to be the month where everything starts coming in for you. It can be for some of you, especially if they are shorter term or smaller manifestations. But this is going to be the energy of the month where you lay down the groundwork. Okay, it's not always like this in November, but it is certainly like this November. So with that being said, let's get into the reading. So going into the first week of November, I have this as November 3rd through 9th. Okay, so the 1st and 2nd of November, you're looking at deepening your purpose, strategic action, underlying motivation, taking calculated steps towards your desires and manifestations. Okay, we're just going to pull like a little baby card for this here. Okay, so we have the Five of Cups. I was holding my deck upside down. We have the Five of Cups coming through. So you might be feeling a little bit like the efforts that you've been putting towards, well, you're not really seeing the results that you had hoped. Okay, for your group specifically, you might be feeling a little bit left out, or you could just be a little bit like maybe cranky or tired. This might be the week where some of you might be in your, I'll say it gently, quickly once, might be in your luteal phase or the beginning of your cycle. If that resonates with you, we're definitely looking at a vibe of inner child coming up and saying, hi, let's shed some light on the situation. Okay, so leading us into week 1, which I have as November 3rd through 9th. The general astrological theme here is expansion and philosophical exploration. Again, generally, take a look at your unique chart. Other themes here are learning, travel, broadening your perspective, and expanding your horizons. So this first week for you, it's going to look really happy and optimistic. There might be a little bit of an underlying memory that comes through that is a little bit upsetting. I'm kind of getting the vibe of, I'm so glad that things aren't like that anymore. Kind of this vibe of, I really like where I am in life. It's so much better than this. So we do have this like undercurrent of something that comes up, but it's not necessarily something that's the end of the world. You're having a really positive month here, but we do see a little bit of residual energy from shadow work that you have been doing already. Clearing this out, moving forward, having a heart-centered energy, and then also taking steps towards your next move here, okay? We do have you receiving clarity in the beginning of the week. And with this clarity, there might be a little moment where you're like, I really need a nap, or I need to work through something first, or I have to figure something out, or you might even be approaching a limiting belief, depending on, again, how this looks at your individual chart. But you're going to be realizing throughout this week, I deserve to feel good. I deserve to love my life, and I do. So I want to take steps that allow this to progress because I deserve that. And you'll be taking the first action-oriented steps towards building, towards expanding your horizons. So some of you, this might be really sitting down with that class and starting to take it seriously. For some of you, this might be starting to plan a vacation or starting to put money aside for that vacation that you want to take maybe in 2026. So week number 2, I have this as November 10th through 16th. This is a wonderful week for introspection. I just want to let you know, okay? The themes here are freedom, optimism, and higher learning. This looks at new experiences, sharing your wisdom with others, and activities of joy, as well as activities of growth, which is why I, right out the gate, encourage you to meditate during this week, okay? This is going to be a week where, for you, you end up kind of having a bit of a spiritual awakening, and you have some inspiration. You're going to have a lot of energy that you know where to put it. You're going to have a lot of motivation. You might start 500 projects at the same time. You're really going to feel like any struggle or blockage that was in your way is kind of being removed right now. You're not in this energy of planting seeds anymore, but you're also not in this energy of receiving harvest. This is kind of a propagating kind of energy. So you have a plant that's happy and healthy. So you might be snipping off some of those plants and making other plants out of that plant. So one thing becomes many. Okay, I'm also being shown this analogy where this is from the Bible where Jesus like feeds a ton of people with one loaf of bread or whatever it is. Okay, it's giving something like this. Multiplication here. You are looking at, again, freedom, optimism, so you're being encouraged to be optimistic, okay, with whatever it is that you're working on here. That's going to carry you through the rest of the week. You're not going to feel confused any longer. You're going to have a lot of extra energy. I also want to let you know, just strategically here, this is also going to be a week where anything that you have been putting off, I'm not saying that you're a big procrastinator, but if there's a project that you have coming up, or there's a book you're supposed to be reading, or you've been meaning to go through your closet, this is going to be a great week to do so because you have all the extra energy. Now, you do have a lot of motivation, a lot of inspiration about things you want to do and things you want to grow, and I highly encourage you to use this energy towards that. But this is also going to be a really good energy and week to kind of cover the bases of those kind of little things that might be an inconvenience at any other time. You got to go to the post office, but it really doesn't have a due date on it. Okay, you have to go pick up that package. Okay, it doesn't have a due date on it, but this is a great time to do so. You're going to have a little extra energy. Your bandwidth's going to be a little bigger. You're going to be excited because you're working on new things. You've got inspiration. You've got motivation. Okay, so it's also a great time to kind of, I almost want to say backtrack a little bit, cover your bases as you continue to push forward. Okay, for you. Okay, And if you'd like more info on this, again, look at your individual chart. That's going to look like probably around your 6th house kind of energy. Look at your 6th house, Virgo, or even Mercury as well. Doesn't need to be specifically that, but those are kind of the energies with routines and of a lot more than that as well, but that's what I'm channeling here for you. So week number 3 looks at structure and ambition. Looks at you having long-term goals, responsibility, disciplined action, laying groundwork for future success. This is also going to be, again, where you are beyond any limiting beliefs, which is beautiful here. For you, we have the star coming out, which lets me know that you're going to be feeling really inspired about where you're going to. And I'm also getting you might be really excited and you might want to show a lot of people what you're working on or tell a lot of people about it. Now, you're being encouraged to make sure that you have enough of a foundation that telling people about it won't affect its energy. Okay, so just make sure that it's grounded before you go telling everybody, okay? Because you might be really excited. You might want to share. It's like, say that you get a ton of money in your bank account and you're really excited. You want to tell all your friends and family, and now all of a sudden they all want you to lend them money, right? But if you're at a place where you're like, okay, so I made some smart investments. I put aside some savings. I booked myself a trip. My money's making me more money. And someone's like, can I borrow $20? Oh yeah, absolutely. Sure. That will not affect me at all whatsoever. Okay. So that's kind of the energy you're being called into. Looking at, though, your manifestations, your goals and your dreams, what you're building, moving towards in the future, right? If you've got a wonderful idea and you're starting to work on it, don't go tell your peer who can make a 5-cent knockoff of whatever you're doing in a week because they pay someone on Fiverr. Okay. That's the vibe here. But this isn't as much about, protecting as it is about laying groundwork for your future success. Okay. This is looking at disciplined action for you. So this is going to be a time where you look at all that extra energy you had from the following week and you're like, that's awesome. I've got a great head start, but I don't always have 10 out of 10 energy all the time. Also, you want to save yourself a little bit for life to happen or for you to take a nice little nap. So this is going to be the week where you start to look at, okay, what is a sustainable routine? What is a sustainable plan for me to show up and carry this out into the future? Maybe week number 2 is when you start your business. You start putting all these little pieces together. You make a business plan. You're having a lot of fun. You're up until 2 a.m. discussing with your business partner. You're having so much fun, but you can't do that every day. So week number 3 is when you're going to go, I love this. I'm excited. Okay. So I'm going to work on this from 8 a.m. until 11 a.m. every single day, deep work. And then after that, I'm going to go mind the rest of my business. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to forget about it. But that is sustainable. You can do 2 hours 3 times a week or whatever that's going to look like for you. Okay, so it's a little bit more of a structured routine here. And there's also a little bit of a hint of something sparking up in your love life as well, and or your spiritual life. Okay, so for some of you, this is a spiritual romance kind of energy that's coming through. And for others of you, this is a new spirit guide on your team that you're going to feel coming through during this week. Okay? I'm also getting for some of you, it can be a collective if that's something that you like. It can be an angel, an archangel. I'm hearing Archangel Raphael. That's very specific, so it won't be for all of you. But it can also be as well like somebody asking you out or is taking the next step forward and there's some sort of a spiritual undertone to it, or just their personality is one of peace and calm and good temperament, okay? So that's coming through for you week number 3. So week number 4 of November, I have this as November 24th through 30. This is looking at goal setting, practical manifestation. I told you this was manifestation month here. This is looking at your clear goals. So it's not just, okay, I'm going to start a business and I'm going to set out the business plan and I'm going to move forward. Okay, as an example, this is more so, okay, so what are my first goals? Let's look at quarter 1. Let's look at quarter 2. Let's look at quarter 3. Okay, so what goals would we like to reach? How many units would I like to sell? What would I like the brand to look like? What is the vision to look like? Who is my target audience? Things like this. Clear goals. Also concrete achievements, okay? Looking at statistics. If you are a content creator, this is going to be the time where you're going to want to look at your insights. You're going to want to look at what kind of content does really well, what doesn't, what gets a lot of engagement, what doesn't, making choices like this, and then implementing strategic plans to grow and expand this, working diligently towards your aspirations, okay? That's the general theme, and now taking a look at it for you, week number 4 here. Week 4, it seems like you've got some good things going on. Something that you've been working on is getting more visible, okay? But you might feel a little bit guarded towards it. Remember how we said the week before, don't spill all the beans, right? So there's a little bit of this. It's almost like coming out of your ears, right? That you're working on something, or maybe you do something in the public eye so people can see that you're working on it. Something like that. With this, there's going to be some sort of clarity that you have with the goals that you have moving forward, but you're also going to be receiving some sort of let's say, energetic validation that what you've been doing is working. You are going to feel like the path for you has been fully cleared ahead, and it's going to feel great, okay? But there is going to be some sort of change towards the end of the week that you realize you need to implement, or it's going to happen to you. It's kind of like the universe whispers before she screams, but the energy it's giving is a little bit more, do business with a business partner, not your friend. Or it can be something a little bit along the lines of, what's another good example here? Make sure that you are not burning yourself out. Just because you can handle something for a really long time doesn't mean that you can, doesn't mean that it's sustainable, okay? Maybe you can do 2 hours a week towards something, and that might get you there in a longer period of time, but you're not going to burn out, okay? You're more likely to stick to it. There's something like this where you're going to realize, I love this, but still there's something here that's not sustainable to reach your goals. Or alternatively, something will happen in life. Okay, I'm not manifesting anything like that for you, but like something can happen where you realize, oh my God, my cat got fleas. I have to take her to the vet, and I really should have a little bit of extra time, a little bit of extra money, a little bit of extra emotional bandwidth to be able to deal with the situation. Okay, I'm not getting anything huge, but we are seeing a little bit of a shakeup that's just helping to guide you towards where you're headed next, okay? So taking a look at November as a whole for you, and then advice. I also want to see if there's something specifically that you're manifesting. We're going to pull some advice for this as well, because that's the theme of this month. So let's see November, just in general for you. Okay, group 1, it feels like November. I'm hearing that song from High School Musical too, where they're like, we got to work it out. We'll make things right. The sun will shine. Pidgey AF. Anyway, this is going to be something that you are working on mostly alone, okay? November is going to be like a solo project for you. Not saying that you're not going to have good people in your life, but this is about your individual stability. This is going to look like you hitting the gym. It's going to look like you journaling, you starting a business, you getting your money right, whatever it is. And you're going to feel that the more that you kind of keep things to yourself, the happier you are, the more peaceful you are, the less people's energy is up in your business, okay? So that's something to contemplate during November. You might feel a little bit like, okay, there's this energy that's coming through, a little bit like, well, others made me feel left out when I was really caring for them, but now I'm called to focus on myself. So do they feel left out? Or it can also be this energy of, oh, what is other people's karma for like messing with me? Oh, I wish that they saw me now. Okay, I'm not saying that you're all like in your ego like that, but there's a smidge of this energy that might come through. Okay, might be very, very small, but it's coming up, so we'll draw awareness to it, okay? It's something like this, where you're just being encouraged not to give it time, attention, or energy, okay? So avoid the tarot readings maybe if you like are a chronic tarot reader or tarot reading listener, okay? Beautiful things, love that, thank you for supporting my genre and peers. However, maybe avoid the readings that are like, what's the karma they're gonna get for messing with me? Or, oh, they were totally gonna, they knew they messed up the second that they played with the real one. Like things like that, maybe stay away from it, okay? Because you don't want that energy in this pure, amazing, unadulterated manifestation vibe that you are in. It's beautiful, okay? You're also thriving here. And so you wanna keep that energy self-focused and pure and happy and healthy, okay? Any more advice for group 1 for November 2025? Okay, so this is going to be a time that requires... I'm also getting to tell you not to underestimate learning something new, okay? You might want to really show up for whatever this is, and you might be using manifestation techniques, trying to call it in. I'm hearing someone say, I don't chase, I attract, okay? Whatever works for you in your manifestations, in your growth, whatever you feel like is right for you. You know your energy. Also check your astrological chart if that resonates with you, okay? But there is something here that you can hear or learn that will assist you, okay? And it's not going to be that energy we talked about before, try not to engage with. It's going to be something that's exactly the opposite of that, okay? It might even be observing that and understanding that you don't want to be like that, or understanding why that works as maybe a smart business model, like stroking people's egos, for example, and seeing, well, how can I, in integrity, how can I appeal to people in that, but in integrity? And it's not necessarily that, it's learning something new. So it might be complimenting people a lot, might be very helpful for you. It might be that I'm hearing the 4 agreements. We recently read that book in my book club. It could be something like, don't take things personally. That might be what you learn from observing that. And it can also be something that you hear specifically as you're working on something, as you're growing it, as you're cultivating it, you are devoted to it. Your spirituality is kind of on point this month, but you're really focused on the grounded, the material a little more so. There is this energy of abundance that's coming through, and it's going to show up in different ways. Like you might be learning about, for example, investing, and then the money comes in and you know what to do with the money. You can make these investments because you've been learning about them. Okay, so you're going to be learning a couple of things during this month that are a few steps ahead of where you are. That's very helpful. Okay, so write it down, keep track of it, keep it in mind, file it in the back of your mind or something like this. Okay, so that's advice. Now taking a look at this manifestation of yours, whatever this is you choose to do consciously or unconsciously, continue to follow your heart. Okay, the thing that makes you the happiest, the thing that you think is the coolest is going to be the thing that has the biggest bag for you. Okay? It's going to be something that you wish that you could receive or you wish that you could interact with. It's going to be not just solve a problem that you've had before, but it's create the content that you want to listen to, or it's make the business that you want to buy from. Or a great example of this is my dream journal. I sell a dream journal and I channeled a mandala for it to connect with the subconscious. I did a whole hypnotherapy training course and I do Reiki. I'm certified in 5,000 different things like that because it's fun to me, right? It's not about the accolades. I couldn't find a I could not find a dream journal anywhere at all. So I made one and now I sell it, and it's the dream journal that I would want to use. And so there's something like this where you're being encouraged to make the decks, for example, that you wish existed. Make the readings that you wish existed. That's how so many of the beautiful, wonderful souls in this group or this niche start doing what they're doing. Sometimes it's because they all want to spy on their ex, and we all have a different ex, okay? So we all need different messages, right? But sometimes it's to be the astrologer that you wish that you could receive from. Sometimes it's to be the tarot reader that's on the path that you're on, instead of whatever is cool and trendy and normal out there. And it doesn't just need to be in this niche, right? But it's coming through here as follow your heart, doing what you think is the coolest, what you would want to receive, what you like to create. That's going to be the biggest bag for you. So while you're being encouraged to, yes, implement strategy here, that's kind of the theme of November, make it more of a vibe. Make it more of a following your heart strategy. What does your heart tell you? And then follow a strategy for that. Then what is the smartest thing to do? How do I find what is an audience that needs to be monetized or can be capitalized upon? What mirrors your heart? What is an audience that you are a part of that you wish was appealed to more? It's kind of giving more of that energy. Again, why the second week, some of that energy that came through was, meditate, introspect a bit first. Okay? So that is what I have for you, group number 1. This is your November 2025. Happy Manifestation Month. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. If you're interested in a personal with me, those are on my spiritual stop on Etsy. If you'd like to pick up a dream journal, an intention candle, other journals have got intention journals, meditation journals, prompted journals. I like to journal. Can you tell? Anyway, if you'd like to meditate with me, that's the first link in the description box below. I also have little meditation cushions that I made. They're on my store as well. It's on Etsy at Spiritualistik. All my links are in the description box for my social medias and everything. I do post on Patreon exclusive content as well as here on YouTube. I've got a members channel as well. I even have one over on TikTok too. So if you're interested in following along on any of those places, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here as well. It means the world to me. It helps me keep doing what I love and helps me encourage other people to do what they love too, because that's just kind of what we're out here doing, right? I love it. I love you. Have an amazing day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm, and I will see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 2. Namaste and welcome to your reading. Today we're looking at November 2025 for you, and you selected the second group with Expect the Unexpected. Before we get into your reading, I want to let you know that you might want a pen and paper for this one. We're going to go over the general astrological themes for November week by week, general. So you might want to write them down so that you can take a look at this with your own chart and see what is or is not relevant for you. Again, general themes, generally speaking, okay? I also want to let you know that the way this is going to work is I'm going to go week by week, giving you dates in November. And we're going to be pulling tarot for each week for you and then a monthly overview kind of situation. I do want to let you know as well that November is manifestation month. This is not maybe when your manifestations are coming in. This is going to be when you want to plant seeds, when you want to visualize, when you want to start doing those manifestation practices. If they're small, short-term things, sure, they might come in, but this is going to be the month where you really want to plant those seeds, okay? So we're going to look at that. A lot of the theme here is about manifestation and your goals, okay? So with that being said, group 2, here is November 2025 for you. Before we get into week 1, I have first November 1st and 2nd. And the themes here on these days are deepening your purpose and taking strategic action. So this is looking at underlying motivations, calculated steps towards your desires, and manifestations. So we're going to pull just one card since it's only 2 days. Well, 2 wanted to come out, so okay. It seems as though you are taking some heart-centered action, or you're doing something that's really important to you during these days, or you've been in the progress of something here, in the process of something. It seems as though there's a little bit of a question of, is this going to actually help you move towards your goals? We're seeing that you're finding out how to balance something in a more sustainable way moving forward in the future. So you're going to look at, I'm hearing like 80-20 rule. Okay, so is this helping to grow the garden that I want to grow? Okay, you want to grow your whole garden. Are you hyperfixating on this plant that isn't meant to bloom every single year? Or are you making sure that you are paying attention to the healthy plants, or are you just trying to revitalize one plant that might not be just taking to the soil that you have? Okay, I'm not really getting that there's a plant that's not taking to the soil, but what I am getting though is that you are kind of reviewing what is in your heart, just making sure that you are making the correct decisions that align with both following your heart and working towards your goals. Now, with the Expect the Unexpected card that you picked for November, definitely there are going to be a couple of things that pop up. I'm hearing all positive, not to worry. So moving to week 1 of November, which I have as November 3rd through 9th. This is about expansion and philosophical exploration. So this is about also learning, travel, broadening your perspective, expanding your horizons, exploring new ideas, expanding your consciousness, and things like this. We see that you are taking little steps this week towards your goals. We see that you are making an effort to show up for your loved ones. You're making an effort to show up towards your future self, things that your future self will be happy for. We see that you are meditating. You're making sure that you're showing up. We're seeing that you are making sure that you are fulfilling yourself, working towards your goals, your relationships, also hobbies. With the Expect the Unexpected card, I'm getting that this is not going to be a week where romance is really highlighted for you, but I'm kind of feeling this underlying energy here of romantic energy that seems like you're kind of being prepared for a little bit. I'm kind of getting the vibe. You know when you detach from certain things and that makes them come in? You know how sometimes manifestation, the universe can kind of play a runner chaser game with you? It's when you don't really care that things come in. It's giving this energy. It feels like you are focused on your health, your wealth, your spirituality, your growth, your hobbies, your fun, your friends, your family, and I'm hearing someone go, who, me? There's this energy of something bubbling up beneath the surface here. Not coming through on week 1, but it's present. Okay. When it comes to broadening your perspective here, it seems as though you might be really having a successful time in your manifestations, or you might be having nice revelations while you are crocheting that blanket, or while you are making that painting, or even while you're just watching a show. It really seems like the universe is going to take initiative to talk to you. Your antennas are nice and crispy, right? They're working, they're receiving everything very well. It also feels like you're going to be feeling a renewal in the heart space, where you kind of feel like, I'm hearing you've got your mojo back, okay? Week number 2 of November, we have as November 10th through 16th here. The general astrological themes are going to look at freedom as well as optimism, higher learning. This looks at having new experiences, sharing your wisdom. This also looks at activities for joy for you, and also activities for growth. Okay, this might be the week where you are, you've got that dentist appointment. This might also be that week where you are meeting up with those friends for brunch that you haven't seen in a while. Okay. This week, it feels as though you're feeling a little more free, a little more Sagittarian energy, and you're kind of not focused as much on being decisive. Now, this kind of circles back around to the idea that we just mentioned about your manifestations come in when you're not chasing them. I don't chase, I attract. Okay? Now, it's not to say not to work towards your goals. that certainly helps, right? You can't just we don't just make a wish and then things just magically appear in front of us, right? Sometimes, maybe, but you still have to take steps towards your manifestations. You have been doing this. Second week, you're going to be focused on freedom a little bit. You're going to feel more, you're going to be in an energy where you decide to release a worry. Maybe it's a financial worry. Maybe you have a lot of options in a certain area of life. And so maybe instead of hyperfixating on them, you get your mind off of them. Not so much as a distraction, but a little more as an act of self-love, okay? Say that you have struggles with a particular area of life. You go see your friends and they remind you, hey, the world is not all bad. You don't need to be carrying the stress alone, first of all. And also there are several areas of life that are beautiful, wonderful, magical for you. And that doesn't go away. Like, the people who care about you don't care if you're rich or poor, okay? The people who want to work with you don't care if you are friends with this person or not. The love that you have in your hearts, the connection you have to spirit is not going to change dependent on if you take this job opportunity or that job opportunity, okay? We do see that some of your options are starting to poke their head a little bit. I'm getting this energy of you being watched very meticulously week number 2. It feels as though you are almost unintentionally breaking the patterns that you have going on in your regular life. This could be a week for some of you where you're coming back from vacation, or maybe just your mind is on vacation, something like this. It feels like you're having a good time, and it feels like you're being watched. People are trying to calculate your moves, seeing what it is that you're doing and why. There's kind of this vibe of this. And you are just like, you're letting loose, you're having freedom, you're letting the wind blow you where it's trying to take you, and you're just kind of going with the flow this week. After preparation into November, it's meticulous. It's asking, what do you want in your heart? And how do you reach those goals practically? So you take some steps there. Week number 1, you kind of meditate on it, you vibe a little bit. And then week 2, it feels like you're maybe blowing off some steam, but in healthy ways. And in some way, this actually helps you to transmute an energy because you're not looking at the worry. You're aware, most likely group number 2, where your attention goes, energy grows. And so if 90% of the things in your life are going really well, but you're focusing on that 10% of things that aren't going that well, because you're focusing on it, you're giving it attention, it can grow to 11% and then 12% and then 13%. It can get bigger and bigger, right? And so while it is a good manifestation technique, we see here that you are releasing your focus on something almost intentionally. And that is actually what's bringing it in. Now, there's a little bit of this catch-22 energy. For example, we had this romantic energy that's starting to kind of come up. Week number 2, you're kind of brushing it off a little bit, whatever it is here. So it can be something where you're like, I do not want to date. I am not interested in dating. I am very happy where I am. I'm at this place in my life where I do not want to, I don't want to see anyone. I don't want to be romantic with someone. I just want to focus on myself and have good relationships with my friends, love my life. And all of a sudden, this is when someone comes in, right? And it's not someone that you would want to brush off. It's someone that you genuinely would want to entertain. Now, that's a little bit inconvenient, but it's also kind of how the universe works. So I'm not telling you to expect this meet cute of your life week number 2, but there's this vibe of this detachment, brushing it off. It's like you're living in the apex of your sovereignty, in your joy, you're having new experiences, you're trying new things, you're having a wonderful time. And this is kind of allowing you to explore options in the future in and of itself. For example, a different example actually is, say that you're a little bit of a workaholic, okay? This might be the week where you take a day or 2 off, or you leave work early and you go do something fun. And because you go do something fun, maybe you make more friends, or you start to see a place, say you go to a new yoga studio and you're like, wow, that's great. I could totally see myself coming here Tuesdays and Thursdays and making new friends, having this routine, and I can build my life like this, and me and the girls, we can all go grab matchas after, right? And so it's expanding your horizons. It's allowing you to kind of daydream a little bit. You are also sharing your wisdom a little bit, but in a way that's not focused on what you have to give, but focused on you moving forward. Like you are almost subliminally, subconsciously moving into and embodying this next version of you that you've worked so hard to create. You know how in manifestation they say act as if, right? You want to become the version of you that has these things. We see you working towards your goals, and week number 2, you're kind of letting loose. And as you let loose, you are becoming the version of you that has your manifestations. But it's not because you are vibing with the energy and you're trying really hard to become that version of you. It's because it's natural. So you're going to notice that there are new things that happen. It's like the beginning of the new season or the ending of the old one, where new things are being introduced for you. And you are reviewing or sharing what it is that you learned in the last season of life. And there are some new things that are popping up for you, allowing you to be aware that you have more options than you thought you did in the past. Now, this in some way is connected to whatever you were deliberating November 1st and 2nd about, am I really working towards my goals? Am I working towards this because it was once a goal? Is it still a goal for me? Because now you've transformed into the act as if version of you. You're not acting as if, you have embodied it. It is actually authentically who you are without effort. And so we do have this energy of reviewing kind of what direction you're going, whatever you were reviewing the first few days of November. What really are your underlying motivations? What really is your goal here? Is this really what you want? So now, this week, you're going to have that clarity, and you're going to feel really optimistic about where you're going as well, which is beautiful. Getting into week 3, which I have as November 17 through 23, the general astrological themes here are structure and ambition. This looks at long-term goals, responsibility, disciplined action, laying groundwork for future success. So basically looking at your foundation and your long-term goals, and it takes a look at things like responsibility as well. For you, week number 3, it seems as though something's going to happen pretty quickly for you. It's going to be actually a game changer. This is going to be something that just randomly happens, or feels like it randomly happens. Energetically, it's not random, but this week of November, towards the beginning of the week, beginning to middle of the week, I'm getting like a Tuesday, Wednesday kind of energy here. Something's going to just kind of appear in your life, like ripping it off like a Band-Aid, and it's going to change your situation. This is going to be something that is specifically for you, something that might have been, again, that we had this energy of something kind of eyeing you a little bit, trying to see if they can maybe predict your movement or something, or when's the right time, or can you handle something, whatever the reason is here. It's not so important. I'm getting that it's in integrity. It's coming forward this next week. And it's actually going to be something that's specifically for you. It might be someone who's wanted to work with you for a long time, but they were keeping an eye out on you first. This can be somebody who's wanted to date you for a long time, but they wanted to kind of get to know who you are as a person first. I'm not getting like creepy stalker energy, but I am getting a little bit of just doing their homework energy, okay? There's also this vibe of reciprocity that's kind of sneaky here that you're going to pick up on energetically, but it's not going to be forthcoming immediately. This is going to feel like something that provides you with something, that offers something to you, and it's also something that's foundational as well. It's going to give you a little bit of confidence and take some of the weight off your shoulders. This is going to be something that comes in, makes you feel better about yourself, just in general, and also takes some of the stress or struggles out of your life immediately. This is like a person coming in who literally makes your life easier. This is a job that comes in that maybe cuts your hours and pays you a little more. It's something like this. But it's something that's been specifically saved for only you. And it's foundational, and its intentions are permanent. Now, looking back at this underlying reciprocity, now it's beneath the surface. Why? Because this is something that comes in and it changes your life. Or it changes your situation. It changes something that you've been trying to change yourself for a long time. And you do. By knocking down the dominoes and taking your hands off of them. Okay? However, this is a domino simply falling into place. It's coming in and it's changing your situation. You might feel like you are receiving more than you're giving, than you have to offer. But there is something here about you showing up and being yourself, you embodying the energy that you've learned to embody. This is actually something that you are giving to whatever this person or situation is. I'm getting healthy. I want to tell you this is healthy boundaries. This is securely attached. You in this energy, you in this job, you in this person. Okay, this isn't an energy vamp situation. This isn't anything like that. I feel the need to clarify. we do have, actually, a little bit of a new beginning here. This is going to be something that you intuitively picked up on week number 1, okay? The 3rd through the 9th. While you are expanding your horizons, you're opening yourself up to new ideas, you're receiving downloads or visions for the future or what it is that you like or what Spirit wants to tell you. Something here is going to make sense. You're going to go, oh, okay, that's cool. I see it. I understand. It's going to ground week number 3, or it's going to click into place week number 3. Same thing with week number 2. Something that you learned week number 2 is also going to click into place, but it's going to be the same thing. So you get one piece, like spiritual and emotional information week number 1. You get like a physical, grounded, rational plan or something tangible. We've got the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. That's where this is coming from. Okay, week number 2. And week number 3 is when it shows up. Notice that we've got the 4 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles centering your reading. Something that's saved and special just for you. And something that is foundational. It's teamwork makes the dream work. It's something that is permanent. Between the 4 of Cups and the 3 of Pentacles, 4 to 3, it's 1. So it's you releasing something that you've been holding in your heart. You releasing a task that you've needed to do because you've realized it spiritually and energetically. You've become it. Therefore, you have energetically delegated tasks. And that manifestation, that thing, that is what's coming in week number 3. You've energetically delegated something, taken it off your shoulders. The realization and the opportunity comes in for you permanently in this way, and it's going to make you feel more in charge of your life again, or like you can take your power back, or more like yourself again for some of you. November really feels like a beautiful month for you because we have this reflection. I'm hearing the song Reflection from Mulan. You might want to watch the movie Mulan, like leading into the month of November or sometime through November. I don't know why I'm getting that. We have this plot, if you will, of you reflecting in your heart what it is you truly want, just kind of examining these things and starting to get your mojo back a little bit, feeling yourself, being on top of things, feeling more spiritually connected. And then with this, you release some worry, your higher consciousness, you've got more understanding. You're not taking things as seriously. You are releasing some of your worries and allowing yourself to enjoy life and have fun, even though everything's not necessarily perfect. You're in awareness that things work out the way that they're meant to, and that you can still enjoy life if all the pieces aren't into place. This might be releasing perfectionism for some of you. Expect the unexpected. You're not really expecting to receive this intuitive message. You're not really expecting to realize that your motives might have changed. Your goals might have changed. You're not expecting to go out and have fun in some of these whimsical, maybe spontaneous ways, week number 2. And you're certainly not expecting the amount of options and the way that you're leaving your options open towards the end of this week. Your relationship to your options is changing, and this is not going to be something you expect. Now, you've delegated those energies outside of you because you're focused on yourself. You're focused on good feelings. You're focused on getting to know yourself, learning yourself, loving yourself an inch deeper. And with that, something comes into your life very quickly that looks at an old stressor of yours that you have grown out of. This feels like a quantum shift, a timeline hop. If you resonate with those energies, this is literally something where it changes overnight for you, or over the course of like 48 hours, everything changes. This is a huge plot point in your story. You know how they say the last few months of a year really can make some plot shifts for you? That's what's happening the 3rd week of November. You're not going to expect this. And it's going to be something that is a permanent fixture in your life, at the very least for the next season or 2 of your life. This is going to lay the groundwork for a main plot point of 2026. Maybe it's a new main character. Maybe it's a new job. Maybe it's a new theme, okay? However, this is something that, again, makes your life easier. This is something that allows you to keep your options open and makes it so that you don't have to be so strong anymore. But it's also something that makes you feel more confident. So it allows you, in some way, whatever this is, to put your energy towards where you want to, instead of just where you have to or feel like you should. Big theme for you for November, okay? So week number 4 here, we have is November 24th through 30th. This looks like goal setting, practical manifestation. So this is setting clear goals and implementing your strategic plans this week, concrete achievements, okay? So this is now that you've had a successful month so far, and you've kind of reflected a little bit more on where you've been and where you're going, where you want to go. It seems like you've got a last piece of the puzzle coming in here the week before. Now it's time for you to say, okay, so we've taken a beat, we've gotten more information. Now let's set some goals and put a plan into play. This is going to be the week of working diligently for you. This is internal work a little bit, working diligently towards your aspirations, okay? Looking at concrete achievements that you've already made. I do want to let you know, week number 4 is going to be blissful for you externally, spiritually, and emotionally. I do see some mental energy here that you're going to work past. And it's not all that bad, okay? But I do want to share with you because I'm seeing it here. Week number 4, you're going to be feeling great. Life is going to be beautiful. You're going to be feeling like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm so lucky. I can't believe I'm so blessed. What a beautiful, magical month. What a beautiful, magical life. I'm so lucky. I cannot believe that this has happened for me. How beautiful. I'm so happy. That mental energy that's going to come in, though, is, but what if it doesn't last? Or, okay, and don't claim these negative things. These are examples of things that come on in the mind space, okay? Don't claim, just observe, okay, for this part. This is going to be, what if it isn't what it looks like? What if it's too good to be true? It can also be something along the lines of, this is so beautiful, wonderful, and it almost makes you maybe feel upset for the version of you that didn't get this when you wanted it or needed it or deserved it. You know, when something's not going your way for such a long time, and then it starts going your way, and you're really, really happy about it. And then because you're like out of survival mode, or you're not putting all of your extra energy or resources towards just being okay or making something work, then that's kind of a moment where you might even have a little breakdown. Here, it's not giving huge, big end of the world, okay? But say that, say you've only been on crappy dates with people who treat you terribly. Okay, say that you've never had like a healthy relationship in your life romantically. This would look like a healthy relationship. And you'll be so happy. It's going to be awesome. But you might also kind of feel bad for all the crap that you put up with because you didn't know that there was better out there. Or you just didn't know better. Maybe you've been, maybe this is a financial thing for you. Maybe you've been struggling just to get by for a really long time. And now you're really comfortable financially, and it happens really quickly. And so now, when you rest, you might feel guilty, or you might feel bad, or you might just feel really sad for the version of you that needed to work long, difficult hours just to keep food on the table, not knowing if you're going to make it month to month. And now you are in this new world. And you're going to be really happy, but there's also a part of you that now that things are better, now you can actually sit with that and feel that, okay? So, week number 4, beautiful. It's going to be a wonderful week, right? Like, it's kind of giving the energy, I'd rather be crying in a Bugatti than in like a Corolla, okay? Love and light to the Corollas out there, okay? But it's kind of giving that energy a little bit, okay? It doesn't just need to be something monetary, because we have the 10 of Pentacles. That can also look like family, community, material abundance, good job. It can also be like political or something like this as well. 10, it can be your external, like your public reputation, your career, things like that as well. High Priestess, this is, of course, spirituality. It's receiving, it's getting to rest. Knight of Cups, it's following your heart, beautiful emotional renewal, okay? And this is where it's simply mental energy. So what I want to see here is you checking yourself if and when a mental energy comes through that might be deceptive towards you affirming this new reality, okay? Week number 4. This is your new reality. You're going to affirm it. Limiting belief or someone else's voice pops up in your head or something, I want you to go, Thank you. Mwah. You're no longer needed. Bye-bye. Okay, affirm your new reality. So that's coming up for you week number 4. Because we do have you now saying, okay, now we're going to take concrete actions towards our goals. We're implementing new strategies. But all of this information, these resources, these people, the situations, these are new. So it's going to require an extra inch of faith, an extra inch of trust, an extra inch of love of yourself and of others, okay? So let's take a look at November generally for you, what you need to know here. Yeah, so things are going to be shaken up for you in a really positive way. Follow your inner spark. This month is going to be fun for you. It's meant to be fun. I'm getting that if you were to watch this as a show or a movie on the main character, you would be sitting on the edge of your seat, screaming at the character like, oh my god, yes, I love it, right? Having so much fun. Walking through it might feel a little different for you. Okay, so you're being encouraged to not disassociate, okay, but maintain that maybe a little bit of an external perspective just to level yourself out a little bit, okay? Again, not to dissociate, not to remove yourself from the situation, but things are going to be shaken up and shifting, okay? The way that you genuinely feel about what's going on might be different when you're walking through it than it is when you are just imagining the situation or you're watching the situation on a screen. Okay, so that's coming up as well. You're going to notice that your luck shifts for the better. Okay. You're also going to notice here that you are faced with a heavy door in front of you. Analogy. Okay, a heavy door in front of you that you look at before deciding whether or not you want to open it. Or you might be like tired looking at a heavy door kind of energy. And what's going to happen is something's going to happen where this door opens for you, or there's a different path for you to take. Okay? So while you're sitting there contemplating or preparing for whatever this is, that is when something magical happens. Okay? So trust in external situations at this point in time to kind of sweep you off your feet. There's definitely something here where you feel like things haven't been working out in your favor, and that is what's shifting for you. And so while things shift for you, the little that is, I'm getting like the little that is under your control or the little that is going your way, all of these things are going to shift, okay? So it might feel a little bit like exciting is what I'm getting. Not scary, but exciting. But as it does, trust that this is the universe showing you that luck is on your side now, specifically. Okay, I'm getting to tell you, be extra selfish during November, not in a way that's like, being a jerk to other people, of course, but do be extra selfish during November because the universe is kind of, I'm getting like, you can have your cake and eat it too. And I know that that's a phrase for like kind of being a jerk to somebody, but if you think about it, if you like bake a cake and you're home alone and you bake a cake and then you have a cake that you baked and then you want to sit down with a fork and you want to eat the cake that you baked, you can have a cake and then you can eat it. You're the one that made it. Like, it's kind of giving that energy a little bit. And I think there's a reason why it came out as that double entendre, because that analogy is like, oh, like, of course, like group number 2, like they're gonna go out on a date with that person who asked them, oh, haha, like, so, wow, like, okay, so, like, oh, wow, like group number 2, they're gonna take that job offer that, like just weirdness. Okay, so be a little more self-loving, okay, in November. Not just with the affirmations and the skincare and the hair care. Okay, love that for you. Keep it up. But with your decisions, okay, you're going to find that a lot of the things that you've been struggling with were not your problems. They were other people's problems. And that is also why other people are what take this off of your plate, okay? The month of November, your job is to enjoy the ride, feel good, do what you like, look and feel hot doing it, enjoy yourself, enjoy your life, make decisions that make you happy. If you are the main character in your life and no one else gets to decide or see or watch the plot, okay? And have faith that these things are working out for you. Expect the unexpected in November. And trust that this is opening up the new season for you of your life. You're gaining information and clarity weeks 1 and 2. Heavy hitter is week 3. Setting a plan into action, week number 4. And I do want to let you know that the things that are coming in for you, these are in integrity, these have good intentions, and these are permanent. These are going to be things that elevate you a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but in a fun, exciting way. Okay? So when you feel those butterflies, okay, sometimes you'll hear if you feel the butterflies, that's not good. It doesn't mean you're comfy. right? That might be a bad sign. When you feel the butterflies, it's excitement, okay? It doesn't need to be that your nervous system is protecting you from something. It might be that you're genuinely excited about something that's really good for the first time in a long time, and you're allowed to feel that way because it's fun and normal, okay? And that's where we have that little mental checkpoint, week number 4, okay? So I would, if I were you, or if I could give you a little piece of advice for you to take or fully ignore, make a little sticky note, or if you're taking notes during this reading, I would put a little sticky note next to your mirror in your bathroom, or something that says, I am deserving of good things coming in for me. The good things that come in for me are trustworthy, so mote it be. Good things, good, permanent, trustworthy things are on their way, so mote it be. Or something along these lines. You have an opportunity to change your life for the better. And I'm literally being shown someone handing it to you on a silver platter. And that might cause some alarm bells to go off. But if you look at where you were in October, maybe even August, September, October, the first 2 days of November, if you look at that, and then you look at what's coming in for you towards the end of November, it's gonna feel pretty much on the nose. Okay? Just because you've been swimming for a long time doesn't mean you don't make it to land. Okay, you can trust your legs when you stand on them. It's okay if they're a little shaky. Group number 2, that is your November 2025. Happy Manifestation Month. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. If you'd like a personal, I have those available on my spiritual shop on Etsy at Spiritualistik in the description box below. If you'd like to meditate with me, it's the first link in the description box. I post exclusive content here on YouTube on my members channel, on Patreon, and also on TikTok. So follow me on TikTok and Instagram. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe here as well. And group number 2, drop in the comments, I deserve good things, and I will trust the goodness that comes into my life. I love you, and I'm grateful for you. Have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful, magical realm. I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group 3. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're looking at your November 2025. November is Manifestation Month. I just want to let you know. Group 3, you selected the Removal of Obstacles card. However, Spirit wanted to transmute this energy into revisiting priorities. So this is what I will read for you today. And I do want to tell you that you're probably going to want to have a pen and paper for this reading to take notes. I'm going to go week by week of all 4 weeks in November with the dates. I'm going to go over the general astrological themes for each week. We're not going to get crazy into it. It is going to be general, but you are going to want to write it down. And of course, we're getting into the tarot. So you're going to see week by week how each one is going to go for you. And then we'll look at a general theme for November. So with that, you might want to take notes so you can have your astrology chart out, or as you meander through halfway through the month, you might kind of forget some of the main points that have been brought to you during this reading. So if you want to understand what's going on, or just say, oh, this is one of the astrological themes, or I remember this was my advice, or this is what's going on, okay? It's a wonderful way to do that if you're interested in that. With that being said, let's get into it. Before we get into week 1, I have that starting November 3rd. Let's pull one card here for November 1st and 2nd. The themes for these days are deepening purpose and strategic action. So it's looking at your underlying motivations and taking calculated steps towards your desires and manifestations. So it seems like in the beginning of November, you are worrying a little bit less about your trajectory in general. It seems as though there's a little bit less stress. It feels like there's a weight that's been lifted off of your shoulders towards the end of October, beginning of November. You're really starting to feel better. For some of you, this is less anxiety or less stress, less confusion about the path ahead. You kind of feel like you've been making positive changes, and now there's not anything that you need to cross any T's, dot any I's, make any shifts. You're feeling pretty comfortable with where you are, which is good. You do have the Revisiting Priorities card, which leads me to believe that during November, especially since it is a manifestation month, you might be exploring a theme pertaining to how do we make sure that that kind of stress or anxiety doesn't happen again? Or if it does, it's less likely to occur. Or if it does, I have some sort of system in place to take care of it for me or to help me in navigating it so that I don't get hit like from left field or if I don't get blindsided, something like this, okay? So we're going to take a look at week 1. I have this as November 3 through 9. The general astrological themes here are expansion and philosophical exploration. This is looking at themes of learning for you, travel, broadening your perspective, expanding your horizons, philosophies. So the first week of November for you, it is going to look at you kind of standing on business a little bit more, speaking your truth. It does feel as though towards the beginning of this week, there's a little bit of a hiccup that shows up. You're no longer in this energy of maybe stress or defensiveness, and so you're able to look at something a little more logically. For example, say that you've been having issues in a relationship or issues with your finances or issues in a personal matter in your life. Perhaps there's, of course, the issue, but also there's the stress that goes along with the issue. And it's a little harder to see something objectively if you're so stressed about it. So what we see is you kind of getting to a comfortable place, a familiar place. You're not feeling that stress anymore. You're not feeling like the odds are stacked up in your favor, but you're able to see, okay, so this is the problem and this is how we're going to solve it. You start to stand on business and you start to find that the solution that you find makes you feel really empowered, and it's also intuitively led. You're going to find in some way that whatever the obstacle was that you are figuring out and now dissolving in your life, it's going to be something that connects your intuition to your logic. So if this is something that is not spiritual at all in nature, you're going to find that it's actually highly connected to your spirituality. There's this vibe of putting one foot in front of the other, and you're also going to find as well that this is something that is probably connected to, with the 9 and the 10 energies, your freedom and your career. So this might be something about you wanting to learn more about your public reputation or your career or something like this. It can be that you feel restricted by a paternal figure in your life or the patriarchy. It can be anything that's kind of along this sort of vibe. But there's this realization as well that there is a way to not only utilize this in your favor, but also to leverage it and also connect it to your spirituality. We're seeing that the first week of November, you're kind of having a thought shift about expanding your horizons. Like, you're not free in this box, so you can just exist outside of the box. And it's not a level of, I can try to walk through a wall. Rather, it's, I can try to see outside of it. Maybe the fact that the box is there can actually work to my advantage, or maybe I can see outside of it and ignore it altogether and pretend like it doesn't apply to me. This is some sort of a philosophical shift. Now, there is something here about feeling like coming out of a feeling of you're not as free as you would like to be in whatever situation this is. That idea is dissolving a little bit, but there's still this material issue here. So the first week of November, what you're going to find is that you want to learn more, but you've learned everything that you can. You want to do more, but you've done everything that you can. It's all within this box energy. So you're going to have this perspective outside of this box. You're going to feel re-empowered. You're going to feel like you're taking control of your life. You're going to feel like, wow, I'm taking responsibility and accountability and it feels good. Not saying that you were not before, but it's like if you have a good idea and you feel motivated towards it and you know it's going to help and you find yourself showing up, you're hitting the gym, you're fixing problems in your life, you are thriving, you're taking accountability, and it's a positive thing and it feels good. And you're like, look at me taking accountability. It feels so good, right? So you're also going to find here that you, towards the end of this week, have some spiritual gifts that are opening up for you as well, okay? So towards the ends of this week, leading into week number 2, you're going to find that you start to gain a higher perspective in your consciousness as well, as a result of the higher perspective you've gained in your material life. This leads us into week 2, which is November 10 through 16. The themes generally are freedom, of course, optimism, higher learning, new experiences, activities of joy and growth, and also sharing your wisdom. Week number 2, we have you really, really thriving. This theme of freedom that you personally explored, It wasn't the general theme. You explored week number 1. That is the general theme for week number 2. Meaning that is really going to be highlighted for you here. We have the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. So it seems as though you draw the line, or you put your foot down, and it definitely ends up paying off for you week number 2. We're also seeing that you're standing on this, and it makes you feel a lot happier, and it starts to change things for you really positively. We do see that you feel a little freer, you feel a little lighter, and you also feel more welcome in your internal world. So it might feel easier for you to meditate. You might feel happy, comfortable being alone. You might have those moments where you are bored in a positive sense. You're like, wow, I haven't just been bored in so long. We're finding rest, we're finding introspection. And it's actually as a result of feeling this freedom. Say that you've been in survival mode for a long time. It doesn't need to be. I'm not claiming that for you at all. But an example of this energy is if you're in survival mode for a long time, when you're not in it, the first time you rest, it's so delicious because you don't have that little voice in the back of your head that's saying you should be doing something else, you should be resting productively, you shouldn't be resting, and it kind of prevents you from resting all the way. Or if you're meditating and you're thinking about your to-do list, you're meditating and you're like, I really do not have these 30 minutes right now, but I have to sit down and do it. Well, there's that phrase, if you are having a hard time meditating for 30 minutes, then try to meditate for an hour, right? It's all fun and games, cutesy, and spiritually, it is true, but that doesn't negate the fact that we have real life and we have responsibilities. Week number 2, we see that energy dissipated from your work week number 1. Week 2, we have you feeling comfortable, happy, healthy at home. Some of you, there's something about a coming together at your house or someone else's house. So this can be a family gathering, a dinner party, meeting with some of your friends. For some of you, it's a house party, but it's giving serene vibes. So it could be like a nice little game night, Dungeons and Dragons situation. Or it can be like a family gathering. For some of you, it could be a book club or something like this. But I'm seeing that week number 2 for you. We are still looking at freedom. One thing I want to notice here is that you're feeling this desire to travel or this propensity to travel, or you're feeling a little bit drawn to travel. One thing I want to notice here is that this has come up as like an underlying theme. We've got freedom and travel that are showing up strongly for you, but we have the 8 of Swords. 8 of Wands is usually the travel card. We have 8 of Swords. What we have here is that whatever area of life you were feeling not as free in, this freedom and this travel idea are intertwined together in some way. So as you feel more free, you feel more rested, you start to think, hey, where's the next place I want to go on vacation? Or you start to think, hey, it would be really, really cool to go study abroad in this place. Or you start to think, hey, it would be really cool to host an exchange student in my house, or something along these lines. Hey, it would be really cool to apply to a job in this place, or at the very least to look up visas or start learning a new language. So there's something here that is being re-sparked week number 2. It's not a huge theme for you, but I'm seeing it, so I want to mention it. So week number 3, we have November 17 through 23. The general themes here are structure and ambition, and this takes a look as well at your long-term goals. Responsibility, disciplined action. You're definitely a few steps ahead during the month of November, group number 3. This also looks like laying groundwork for future success. Okay, that's the other theme for week number 3 here. But all of these themes, you are a week or 2 ahead on them. You already have them unlocked. So some of you might be an astrologer yourself. You could be an energy worker yourself. You could just be really on top of the ball. So this week, it seems as though you're trying to call something in, or you've tried to call something in and it's not showing up. You're giving yourself love, and because it's not coming to you, there's this question of where do you go next? For some of you, this might look like where do you want to move next? It might be house hunting, apartment hunting for some of you. It might be looking at where you want to go on vacation next. We had that theme coming up as well. It can also be what's a general sense of what you want in your life. This week, we have you feeling very fulfilled, but you get fulfilled to the point where you wonder, is this all that is for me? Do I want something else? I'm quite content here, but what do I want my next adventure to be? What do I want to manifest? What do I want to bring in? And it seems as though there's something here. The 3 of Wands reversed and the 2 of Wands reversed are interesting energies saying that there's something that's not coming in for you. you can go get it, but it's not just coming in. So your next big change, your next big adventure, it's something that you choose. It's something that you instigate. It's something where the universe is saying, hey, co-creator, what would you like to do? It's not necessarily an opportunity that the universe is putting in your lap. You have this awareness, and you're also in this energy of self-love. You're feeling quite happy. You're feeling quite emotionally fulfilled. You're taking good care of yourself. You're feeling this freedom. And with this new freedom, you are now wondering, so where do I want to go with this now? Because it felt like you were on a journey for a while in order to get to this point. And now that you're at this point, you have that sense of relief instead of excitement. Now that you have that relief, you're wondering, okay, so now what? And so there's a little bit of this question of maybe you don't want to ask for too much, or maybe you don't want to dream too big because maybe you already did and you achieved that dream. So there's this little bit of this vibe of wanting to honor your authentic self, while also not wanting to ask the universe for too much. Also, it's kind of like the ball is in your court when it comes to your manifestations and your long-term goals. So basically, this is you looking at where you want to end up. This would be a great week for you to start looking at like a 5-year plan. Since you're a little bit ahead energetically, I would maybe recommend you thinking about this week number 1, maybe sitting down and writing one that you can totally tear up and burn and edit later during week number 2. And then week number 3, you have a little bit of, these are some of the ideas that I already had. And so since you're going through this internal journey, week number 3, and you also have the awareness that you grow and change and evolve, and in 5 years, you might not necessarily want the same things that you wanted week 2 of November, you at least know that there's some truth to it, right? It expresses your authentic self, albeit at that point in time, but there is still truth to it. There is still guidance to it, even if it's not necessarily clued in on all of the versions of you that you have yet to become. So I would recommend putting something together like this around the end of week number 1, week number 2 for you. Week number 3, we've got an internal journey ahead, because this is all looking at, okay, so what is the structure? You have the structure, but what is the ambition behind the structure? Do you wish to have higher ambition? Are you cool being where you are? Do you want to move? Do you want to stay? Do you want a new job? Do you want to sit comfortably in this one? It's looking at energies like this. What are your long-term goals? And what actions can you take to get there? This is laying the groundwork for your future success. But first, there's this picture of what do you want it to look like? It seems as though you've been so ahead, but your energy is ahead, and it almost feels like you've just been trying to keep up. But you're so on the ball that it almost feels like it's divine intervention, divine orchestration. So you might have felt like there's so much out of your control, just in general, so much that's out of your hands, and you're doing everything that you can. This is the kind of energy that is maybe type A, maybe very organized, maybe very intuitive. You're literally ahead of all of these themes astrologically that are coming through. So you're likely in a leadership position, but as you're in a leadership position, oftentimes it's the leaders that need to follow, right? So you might find that you are a leader or a guide of other people. You might have a lot of responsibility on your plate, but because of that, it might be that you're the one that eats last because you're having everyone over for dinner. So you're serving all of your guests first, and then you serve the host last and you sit down, right? It's kind of this kind of energy. It's like the captain goes down with the ship kind of energy, not because the captain can't make it off the ship, but because, I don't know why that's a thing, but they want to make sure the rest of the crew and everything gets off. So there's this vibe here of you being literally on top of everything, maybe just to get by, or just to fulfill your duties, or just to reach a particular goal. And we see that you're so ahead. This goal gets met, the stress or anxiety dissipates, and now there's this question of, now where do we go? Do you dare to dream bigger? Do you dare to dream differently? Do you dare to move? I'm hearing that song by Switchfoot, I Dare You to Move. And with the star in reverse, this looks like you looking around and saying, this structure was maybe never what you wanted. Not because you don't like where you ended up, or maybe not because you don't like where you are, but again, you have to be so extremely diligent with little to nothing to show for it. Not energetically. We see that you're feeling emotionally fulfilled. We see that you're feeling good, but we also see the amount of effort that you're putting out. You're putting out 110% of the time, yielding not 110% results. So now that things are balancing out, we have this exploration and this journey, week number 3 for you. Now, it ends with the Hierophant, so this ends on a positive note. But what I am noticing here is, again, this is connected to your spirituality, and it's also going to be connected to whatever it is that you realize at the end of week number 1. So, week number 1, as you're having these, as you're opening up your mind, you're having little aha moments, realizations, and you find that whatever this is, it's connected to a spiritual journey of yours or a spiritual gift of yours, make a little note of it. You're going to find it comes back around towards the end of week number 3, and that I'm getting it's going to be the yin to your yang. It's going to be 2 little puzzle pieces that put together, giving you a glimpse of the picture that you are called to create next. It's a lot of this energy of what you're called to create, not what you want to create. And so you're taking a look at, yes, what you're called to do, what you've got to do, what you're intuitively driven to do. There's this awareness that when you follow your intuition, when you follow your higher calling, when you follow your higher path, this will be something that emotionally fulfills you if you're truly in alignment. However, without the intuition, without what you're being called to do, without your soul mission and all of these things, what do you want? What would you want if those things were not relevant? Now, it's not removing the relevance of those things from your life. It's simply asking the question, because you might find that your calling is more aligned with what it is that you truly want, which is kind of the opposite, it seems, of the way that you have been maybe functioning majorly. Not entirely, but just majorly recently, right? You find that you're called into things that you really enjoy, and it's fulfilling for you. But what if you flip the script and you went the other way around? You do what you love and find that that becomes a calling. So, same energy, different angle, okay? So with the Hierophant, there's the self-exploration. I highly recommend maybe meditating on it or sitting with it, channeling your higher self if that's something that you like to do, okay? But again, there's this energy of checking in with your intuition first, checking in with the transits first. Again, group number 3 is one who's always a few steps ahead. That's a cool energy. I love that. But this also yields the question of, in the present moment, how are you fulfilled? Are you feeling safe and comfortable and happy? And the answer now is yes, maybe after a journey to get it there. But with that being yes, how can you take that spark and how can you keep that fire burning and still advance forward in the future towards goals and aspirations that maybe put that spark first instead of touch all the bases and then come to center and spark it again. So, getting into week number 4 here. This is November 24 through 30, and the themes here are goal setting and practical manifestation, Wheel of Fortune out of the gate. Love that. This looks at clear goals, implementing strategic plans, concrete achievements, working diligently towards your aspirations. This is showing up and getting stuff done. After this exploration the week before, it kind of feels like the universe sweeps you off your feet a little bit for some fun. I'm hearing, or for a party for some of you. There's a little bit of a vibe of not being sure if you want to move forward in this direction or if it's kind of just a nice little phase or a nice week or a nice experience. For example, I'm being shown like a vacation love, right? Maybe you travel somewhere and you fall in love with somebody, and when you go back, you question, well, was it really that person or a connection, or was it like the high of the travel and the new and all of that kind of stuff, right? So there's a question like this where things are going really, really well for you. You're being encouraged this week not to dive into those old patterns of stress, confusion that you had coming out of October and the very beginning of November. There does seem to be some sort of, I'm hearing you receive a proposition that's small but promising. And the intention here is very good. It's very beautiful, but it's a lot deeper. Like, it's an iceberg. You're only being shown the tip of the iceberg here, but it's a page of cups. You're being shown the page of cups, but what's beneath it is the lovers. Again, this week starts out for you very lucky, very positively. Things are moving in your favor. You're also finding that you get to have more fun this week because you're feeling better. I don't know from what, but you're feeling better. And it seems as though you kind of make the choice to follow that good feeling. And because you do, it leads to this new beginning that feels really nice for you. And again, it's the tip of the iceberg of something that is profound and deep and beautiful and enduring as well. And it's also spiritually inclined too. So when it comes to your goal setting, it feels as though As opposed to long-term building, like putting together a business plan or starting an exercise regimen or meditation thing, it kind of feels as though you're focused on, in the long term, being present. Your goals right now are to be happy, maybe to forge healthy relationships. It's to maybe have a little more fun in your life, maybe to make decisions that honor your heart space and your inner child. They're more about being grounded and being present and trying to practice that as your long-term goal. What is your long-term goal? I want to be present and I want to be happy. That's a really beautiful place to come into center for. Let's see what messages want to come out here. We have, again, with the Revisiting Priorities card, beautiful energy. So just for the month of November in general here, we do have this question here of you walking away from something or like holding it close in your heart. We again have this exploration that came in week number 3 that's really strong here. That's why I think that energy was so emphasized. You seem to be more devoted to having fun and not worried as much about maybe what others think. There does seem to be a little bit of an internal tower moment here for you that only you see, no one else sees. So it's not going to be something that pulls the rug out from underneath you, but there's definitely an internal shift. There's a shake-up. Remember that analogy in the beginning about seeing outside the box? This is going to be a really progressive month for you. You're going to continue to move forward. You're going to feel happy. There are going to be a few moments where you kind of feel like not stuck, but let's just say I would expect maybe a good cry or two during this month, but nothing that is like making you feel sad or upset too much. Maybe it's a little bit of something that needs to get processed and then you realize that you're happy. Again, it can be that energy of when you're happy, you realize how unhappy you were, right? And then you have a good cry, but then you come back to, well, but it's because I'm really happy. And so that sad cry maybe turns to a happy cry. It's kind of a situation like that I'm picking up on. I would expect a few moments of emotional processing and otherwise here. This month, I'm seeing that you have an opportunity to spend money in, I'm hearing small, minute ways that are maybe unimportant. And you're being encouraged to trust that there's more of where that came from. This is an important message for you here. For example, maybe you literally follow that, I don't buy coffee out. I only make coffee at home. You know, they say like, oh, you can save money if you just don't go buy your $7 coffee in the morning, which unfortunately in this economy is not true if you live where I live and are around my age. But you might still follow that. Maybe because you have to, maybe because you want to. But you're finding a little more opportunities for arbitrary purchases is what I'm getting. So it might be that you go out with friends, right? And maybe you go thrifting together. You buy yourself a new pair of shoes. It's looking like little things that normally wouldn't be there. Okay, little things. So maybe it's $2 here, $20 here, $10 there, $5 there, right? And it's going to match your situation and your capability. But whatever this looks like, it could also be energy for you. It could be hours in the day. It's giving pentacles, okay? So usually swords is more of a time energy thing, but if you are using, like, for example, Spoon's method, like if you have a chronic illness or if you have a lunar cycle that just, knocks you out a couple of weeks a month, this can be something like this too. Energy expenditure, finance expenditure, okay? The trust that there's more to where this came from so you can spend a little bit, right? Not to say no to going out with your friends because you're afraid of being like not able to get out of bed the next day, or buying that little matcha at that cute little boutique place with your friends and not stressing over it when you get home because you could have budgeted it or invested it or saved it more wisely, okay? Or used it on a book for personal growth, So there's a little bit of a vibe here like this too. You are learning a little bit more of a present moment abundant mindset vibe throughout the course of this month. And the biggest piece of advice, the biggest thing that you realize during this month is that when you think a door is closed in front of you, it's that you're looking at the box wall. It's that you're on the edge of that reality there, which is a good thing. So close your eyes, go within, see the consciousness outside of it. Okay? It's like if you're in a room, that doesn't mean that the room is all that exists. You wanna walk forward a little bit more, but you can't, the wall is there. But what you can do is you can close your eyes, you can ground with the earth, and you can remember that there's an entire world outside of you. There's the forest outside of your house. There's the street outside of your house. There's a whole neighborhood. There's a whole earth there. So there's connecting with that and saying, you know what? I'm connecting with the earth, and the earth connects with me. And then you bring that energy into the house, into the room. And because you're bringing that energy in, then the walls seem a little less real and a little fuzzier. And as you expand in consciousness, you realize, oh, like the walls are just like a construct and they're just made out of earth anyway. They're all one and the same. And that is what allows you to say, well, all this material along the wall, except right there, there's an opening, and it allows you to find that door. Because it's not that there's a door closed in front of your face. It's that you're really close to the equation because you're like on the brink of your reality. It's giving like number 9, truthfully, which is exactly what came out as your first theme for this month. Okay. So number 9, especially with the 19 with the sun here, with your personal freedom. Okay. Personal freedom, and the way that this intuitively and tactically applies to your life and your abundance. Okay. So 9 is the like outer edge of reality. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All of those things exist within reality. 8 is like the moon, right? It's that lunar energy. There's the shadows there. So it's all things light, dark, and in between. 9 is that edge of reality. 10 is what's outside of it. So is 11, and so is 12. That's why 9 is the completion. Oh no, but 10 is the completion. 9 is that fuzzy wall that's in between. 9 is the veil. 9 is where the freedom lies. Okay? And so that is the biggest thing you're being encouraged to keep track of. I also want to let you know this is going to be a wonderful month for you to work on creative projects. Okay? Maybe not to get things fully started and finished, but it's going to be a really wonderful month to like have beautiful energy to put towards projects. So if there's something that you've been wanting to work on, you've had a pin in it for a while, or if you're wondering if you're going to have enough energy or enough inspiration, definitely yes, it's a good month for that. You're going to be wanting to explore your options spiritually and creatively as well, and it's going to by itself open up new doors for you, but you're not doing these things to open up new doors. You're doing these things because you like them, and that is going to be a big shift for you that happens this month too. You're going to be moving forward a lot. You're going to be progressing and growing personally a lot this month, and it's going to feel like baby steps, especially compared to the way that you're used to functioning. This is definitely a hyper-functioning group. This is definitely a hyper-vigilant group. This is definitely someone who's 10 steps ahead all of the time, which is a really beautiful energy. But this is going to be a little bit more feeling like baby steps, but it's not. Sometimes it's in the tiniest changes that have the biggest results, right? So that's kind of what this month is going to look like for you, okay? So group number 3, that is your November 2025. I hope this helps shed some love, light, and clarity for you. We're going to be revisiting priorities, but it's going to be feeling oh so good. If you're interested in a personal with me, you can find those on Etsy at Spiritualistik. I've got sales going all through the holiday season from November through January, so keep an eye on my Etsy store for those. My Etsy handle is Spiritualistik. On my spiritual shop there, it's in the description box. I've got intention candles, journals for meditation, for recording your dreams. I've got prompted guided journals, books, crystals, tarot and oracle decks, everything. I've made all of it. If you'd like to meditate with me, that is the first link in the description box below. For this group, I highly recommend checking out the meditation retreat. It is yours forever. Once you have it, it's a wonderful way to just have a collection of meditations in your pocket. It's good for beginner all the way to advanced. So if you think, well, guided meditations, I've kind of outgrown them because they're usually too beginner for me, that's not going to be this. Also, if you're like, I don't know, meditation's kind of hard for me to sit down, this is also for you, okay? I specifically made it with that in mind. So it's very specifically curated. So I hope that you enjoy it when you check it out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe as well. It helps me keep following my dreams as I support you while you do yours, okay? I love you and I'm grateful for you. Follow me on Patreon if you'd like more of this content. I've got a YouTube members channel too. I post on TikTok and on Instagram, and my handle's the same across all platforms, so it's at Spiritualistik. I love you and I'm grateful for you. I said that 3 times and maybe I'll say it one more. I hope you have an amazing day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm. Feel free to check out another reading or another pile in this one, and I'll see you next time. Namaste.